Hello and welcome to Unstoppable Joy. Thank you so much for being here with me, and thank you for taking that responsibility and being dedicated to knowing that you're enough in here already to have more, joy, to have more abundance, to have more love, to have more health, to have more. Just for letting yourself learn how to have more. Yay! This is a really exciting revolution. This revolution of women coming alive and remembering ourselves, remembering our power, remembering that our power is fueled by love. And so getting right into it, I believe that joy fuels love. I believe that, it fuels self-growth and health and just an understanding of ourselves and courage. So much courage. But I know that I love my children better when I'm living a joyful life. I know that it's easier for me to maintain a higher level when I'm paying attention to my joy, when I'm making my joy a priority and making it an intention, right? And it takes practice. I'm going to say it right now. It takes practice, which is why I love the tools that I'm teaching you in this workshop, because they're so easy. They're so quick and easy. I'm so excited to get to that. But yeah, so thank you for being here and taking that intention to make more joy in your life. And right, the way that people learn is also like not just by making mistakes, which is it's trial and error, but we also learn by practicing and by being able to talk about our worries and our concerns. And so yeah, so just like keeping in mind to that, the practicing part, right? When we go from like learning a new skill to unconsciously just performing a new skill, this in between part, that's the most uncomfortable part. It sucks because you know that you have a skill and you're not always using it. And it's really easy for us to get self-blamey and into judgment. And it's the model that we grew up on. So, we've all learned to adapt, and that's a beautiful thing. And it's time to learn some new skills. So I'm going to teach you some joy raising skills and tools. And so I want to talk a little bit about why joy is so hard. And I could talk about the patriarchy. I could certainly talk about how we were raised and in what kind of family values we were raised. I can talk about ancestral trauma and how all of us have people who were pushed off land or, violently assimilated or there's just no, you know what I mean, right? Like all of us have that ancestry, right? So it's not our fault. It's nobody's fault. It just happened. And now we can take responsibility. So I could talk about like a lot of different things, but what I want to talk about is fear, right? And how scary it is to be really joyful. It's really scary. And again, going back to sort of how we learned, like I remember times in my childhood that somebody made me smaller because I was so happy. I was so excited. I was so joyful. I was living the life. I wanted to talk to people and be the center of attention and teach everything I knew all the time. And I wanted to be singing and dancing. And guess what? That's still who I am today. But I let myself get really, really tiny along the way. And I'm not tiny. It's scary to feel joyful when somebody in our lives made us feel small, or when somebody in our lives made it not okay, or we believed that we would lose love. And I've said this about love, like if you fear as a small child that you'll lose love for crying, you will not cry, right? You're going to shut that down, because love is something that we need to actually survive. I remember times that somebody in my life made me scared that I would be judged if I let some of that peek out, that like the weirdness, the whatever made me. If I started talking about that stuff, I would be judged. So somebody out there can either, people judge me or somebody convince me not even to try. Right? I've seen that storyline in movies, right? Where like the parent is sort of like, honey, well, maybe you should just consider doing something different. This is a thing, right? And I think a lot of us did actually learn that it wasn't okay to just like go for it, because trial and error, right? Just go for it. Brene Brown says it really well on an Oprah Super Soul Sunday that joy is the scariest feeling, because as soon as we have those high moments, we have a kind of tendency to cut ourselves off because something could happen. It's like any mother knows, you see your children. This is what I'm still paraphrasing Brene Brown, by the way, on Oprah. So that thing where you see your children like sleeping at night and you're just loving them so much, and then you have a flash of them dying horribly. We've all experienced it. We've all gone there. I have to say I haven't gone there for a while. Yay. But it's a thing. This is a thing. And so we protect ourselves from feeling too much. But here's the thing. It doesn't actually, like, safety is a total illusion. This doesn't actually make us safer from the bad stuff happening. And in fact, I would say that the bad stuff, it's easier to feel it fully and let it flow through you like completely when you're offering yourself self-love, right? And when the rest of the time, when you're not in, say, a grief state, when the rest of the time you're up here, it's a lot easier to go through this and get back up again. When we cut off our own joy out of fear that we'll lose it, we're still going to lose it. Bad stuff is still going to happen. You don't jinx yourself with joy. Joy is not a jinx. I promise you, joy is not a jinx. Please don't believe that. So if we're down here, then, we go like, we might even still just crash through our previous barrier, and it's harder to get back up because we're so used to being down. It takes practice. Joy is a practice, and it's super uncomfortable to have to practice anything. But I'm going to make it easier for you by walking you through the steps using the science of neuroplasticity and how people learn. Okay, so I'm going to promise you that right now. And then practice is how neural pathways are formed, right? So we do have to find something that we can habituate, something that we like doing enough that we'll do it, and we believe in it enough that we'll do it. And that's what I want to give you. Those are the things that I found, that I went and looked for, right? And then I found this is how I can bounce back every time. It's kind of like when I quit sugar. I've quit sugar so many times now, like I'm a total pro. And now when I go on a sugar binge, I'm like, whatever, I'll just stop as soon as I'm done. And then I stop when I'm done, and I know how to bounce back really easily because I've done it so many times. And that's my norm now. So I can still go on a binge, but I know how to get out of it. So also, when we use joy to fuel our days, we find ourselves in a state of flow much more frequently. So some of you will have heard of flow because it's sort of like I think it's actually the term that's used scientifically, because everybody knows what a state of flow is, right? Like, you have to get in the flow. But if flow is not your norm, then again, it takes this uncomfortable practice to get there. But still, speaking of flow, we are far more likely to find ourselves in that place of flow and letting things slide and kind of surrendering to life when we are practicing joy. When we're practicing joy, it is just so much easier to fall back and relax in that river that just kind of takes us wherever we need to go. We don't have to worry about getting here or here because we don't know what lessons we need to learn on the way. We just get to relax into it and know that we're living in a state of abundance, and know that we're living with everything that we need because we're alive. We're actually alive. So despite all of the odds, we have actually survived up until now, and we're still surviving, right? To sum up, thank you for taking the responsibility to be here and learn new things, and the responsibility of practicing those new things, even when it can be really uncomfortable. the practice of loving ourselves, which means giving ourselves empathy when it's really freaking uncomfortable, because it is. It's so uncomfortable. Yikes. And then talking a little bit about why human beings are scared of joy, because we think that if we feel less joy, then maybe we could, you know, feel less pain. But that's just not true at all. It's not true at all. The more we live in a state of joy, the easier it is to get back to a state of joy. And that state of joy comes from trusting our bodies. And trusting our bodies means letting our bodies cry when actually the universe, like God, is saying, you've got to cry right now. Seriously, people, I dare you to cry in the next uncomfortable place that you are. When it's just like, but I'm at work, just do it, because the universe has a purpose for it. If your body is saying cry, it's because you need to cry, and the whole world will grow if you do. So thank you again for taking that, for making that commitment, for taking that responsibility. Thank you for being here and for putting your trust in me. Oh, I know. No, I know. It's going to work. You just have to do it. Okay, so that was a big old hunk of information. And now the next piece, and this is so important to me. So please, I will be so, so grateful to you if you can give this specific feedback in the Facebook group. Okay, so when you heard that whole spiel, what came up for you? What right now is stopping you from having more fun in your life? Okay, so my stories of stopping fun are like, you know, like I have to clean my house, or, you know, I have to, like, I'm with my kids all the time. It's like, it's just me, except maybe 5 hours a week. It's just me and them all day long. No school, no daycare, hardly any break. Like, it's just us. I get in that story a lot. You know, I don't have any money. How do I deserve to take time to just have fun, or to just do what I want to do? I don't deserve it, because I'm not giving my children the best of me. I'm not giving my partner the best of me. I'm not giving my clients the best of me. I'm not putting my all into work. So I don't deserve it. So I want to hear from you. I really want to hear from you. I cannot stress it enough. Okay, that's going to make the course so much better. So much better. You will help this workshop so much if you can share with me what comes up for you. Why can you not take the next joy step? What's your story? Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Adieu for now.